Zura Karuhimbi had no weapons to defend herself when the men waving machetes surrounded her home, demanding she hand over those she was sheltering inside. She did, however, have a reputation for magical powers. That reputation, and the fear it engendered in the group of having armed men, was enough to keep an elderly woman, and more than 100 others safe. During the Rwandan genocide, some 800,000 other Tutsis and moderate Hutus would die in the ethnic violence, which engulfed Rwanda in 1995, including her firstborn son and a daughter. During the genocide, I saw the darkness of a man's heart, she would tell the East African 2 decades later from the same tunnel. During house, she had so many people inside. Karuhimbi died peacefully at home in Musomo village, about an hour east of Rwanda's capital, Kigali. On Monday, no one is entirely sure how old she was. By her own account, she may well have been well over 100. Official documents suggest she was closer to 93. Either way, when the Hutu militias known as the Interahamwe arrived in her village, she was not a young woman. Karuhimbi was, according to the numerous stories written about her life, born to a family of traditional healers. In about 1925, the year comes courtesy of unofficial identity card. It could be argued that her path towards the events of 1995 was set in motion when she was still just a child. It was then the Belgians decided to take the population of Rwanda and split them into clearly demarcated groups, complete with identity cards, laying out whether they were Hutu or Tutsi. Karuhimbi's family were Hutu, the group which made up the majority of Rwanda's population. The minority Tutsis were considered superior, and for this reason, given access to better jobs and educational opportunities by the colonialists. The division fueled tensions between the two groups. Karuhimbi was still young, in 1959, when Tutsi King Kigerivi, together with tens of thousands of Tutsis, were forced into exile in neighboring Uganda, following what was referred to as a Hutu revolution in Rwanda. So, when the first attacks began in the days which followed the downing of Hutu President Juvenal Habyarimana's plane, in April 1995, it was not the first time she had seen such violence. But she could not have known how bad things would get, as Hutu husbands began to turn on their Tutsi wives, in order to avoid the same fate. Even if she did, one suspects it would not have stopped her. I used to say, if they die, I will also die. She owed the Kigali Genocide Memorial. The little two-room house in Musomo village quickly became a safe haven for Tutsis, Burundians and even 3 Europeans during the genocide. Dozens of people reportedly hid under her bed, and in a secret space in the roof. Others say she dug a hole in her fields, where people hid. Some of those concealed on the property were babies, taken from the back of their dead mothers. She would say, much like her age, no one really knows how many people there were in the house. It won't like she was counting. Karuhimbi told Rwandan reporter Jean-Pierre Bassensange on the 20th anniversary of the genocide. At the time, she had far more pressing things to deal with. It was enough people, however, to alert the Hutu militia. Zura's only weapon was to scare the killers, that she would unleash spirits onto them and their families. Mr. Bassensange explained. She would also anoint herself with a local skin-irritating herb, and could touch the killers to try to keep them away. It was a method remembered clearly by Hassan Habiyakir, one of the people the feared witch saved. Zura told Interahamwe militia, if they entered the shrine, they would incur the wrath of Nyabindi. in Rwanda were forgot. They were frightened and our lives were saved for another day. He recalled, if they are to die, I die with them. Zura Karuhimbi pound, Kiuman 2 pound, Ki champion humanity pound Ki repeat. Twitter, Comcom of 1 egg, 7G, end of Twitter post by at Kigali Memorial. Karuhimbi herself would tell how she would shake her bracelets, and anything else she could find, in order to scare the men away. I remember one Saturday, they came back again. She owed the East African in 2014. I confronted them as usual, warning them that by killing the refugees in my house, they were digging their own graves. The warnings worked. When the genocide ended in July, as Tutsi-led rebels entered Kigali, every single one of the people Karuhimbi had risked her life to save had survived. Life carried on as well as it could. She was a mother in mourning, having lost a son to violence, and a daughter she later said had been poisoned. And the legend of the witch of Musomo village continued. Despite her repeated assertions that she was not, and had never been, a witch, I only believed in one God, and the thing of magical power was just an invention and cover I was using to save lives. She owed Mr. Busson sent in 2014. I am not a witch doctor. The tale, however, reached the highest levels in Rwanda, and, in 2006, she was awarded the Campaign Against Genocide medal. It gave her the chance to share another tale of a life she had saved, almost 50 years earlier. According to Karuhimbi, on that occasion in 1959, as inter-ethnic violence was escalating between the two groups, she advised the mother of a 2-year-old Tutsi to take the beads from her own necklace and tied them in a little boy's hair. I told her to carry her son and not put him down, so the militia would think he looked like a girl when they saw him, because they only killed boys at that time. She owed Moose outlet advice. That boy, she said, survived and went on to become the man who presented her with the medal. President Paul Kagame. Karuhimbi never really knew what happened to any of the other people she helped. Her final years were spent being cared for by Anis. As far as it's known, in her last newspaper interviews, she was still living in the house. But poverty meant it was starting to crumble around her. The medal Mr. Kagame handed her in 2006 remained a treasured possession. She wore it at all times, stashing it under her pillow for safekeeping when she slept. And now those who met her hope that the story of the hood to womanhood, gave everything for others during those terrifying days, will travel far beyond the borders of her village. She risked her life to save others. Mr. Busson told the BBC, and to do that, she only had to improvise. She faced them against with her full body and intellect, and she won. Her story is a reminder that humanity prevails, even in the most difficult situations. 2 Scandinavian women tourists have been found dead in Morocco, with cords to their necks, the country's interior ministry said. Both bodies were found near the town of Imleo in the High Atlas mountain range, near the foot of North Africa's highest peak, Mount Tepco. The women, from Denmark and Norway respectively, have not yet been named. A police investigation has been launched into their deaths, the Interior Ministry statement said. A popular tourist attraction has become the latest Chinese company to show solidarity with Huawei's chief finance officer, Meng Wanzhou, who was arrested in Canada on 1 December. Shannon Mountain Scenic Park, in eastern Hainan province said it would waive the $9.65 ticket fee for anyone carrying a Huawei phone. Miss Man, who was given bail in Canada faces extradition to the United States on charges of breaking Iran sanctions. Her case has upped tensions with China. Use Huawei phones. Shoot grand photos on the mountain. A notice on the Shannon Park's social media account said, "We wish friends around the world who support Huawei's success and bliss." The offer would last until 29 December, the South China Morning Post reported. But it was met with some criticism among China's social media users, who claimed it was discriminatory. Huawei phone owners are being offered other enticements too. They can get a 20% discount at a border in Beijing. Seen in Beijing, bring a Huawei phone and get 20% off. Similar to this story we covered yesterday. https://t://QQXL19YPQLPIC Twitter.com/Sokolov